Okay, let's give you the short answer first. Your priorities today in short form are upgrade the military center and upgrade the camps. Focus on those buildings only. Now you do get points for the lab. If you got some additional resources, level out your labs so that the first one is the same level as the second one. That's cool, but really the higher you make your military center, the better, and the higher you make your camps, the better. So focus on those. Also, for the rest of the day, you are promoting your lower levels, you're zeroing this out, promoting your low level troops to the highest tier you have. Click, boom, promote, speed up, and do that all day long. Once you promoted all of your troops to the highest possible level, then, and only then, do you start making new troops. Why? Because it takes 12 hours for me to train per hit. It only takes 3 hours for me to promote. All right, so you do more in less time, and you get the same amount of points for promoting as you do training. So your priorities today, guys: military center, build that up. Camps, build those up. If you got anything left, even out your labs, and then troops. All right, that's the short answer. Now continue watching for some very nuanced explanations of how to use things, particularly troops and marches. What's good, everybody? This is Rogue Archetype SK Alliance, and you know what we're doing today? Talking about that Alliance Duel Day 5, okay? People who don't understand the game, they overemphasize hero development and ignore all else. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna have some very well-constructed heroes that can't win because you haven't focused on your vehicle or you haven't focused on your troops. So today is the day where you focus on those troops and really make your HQ strong and defensible and make your heroes stronger, okay? So, troops, all about the troops. Let's talk about it. Of course, the obvious thing is if you train a troop, you get points, period. Also, if you promote a troop, you get points. Why? Because that's like training them to the next level. And it's actually cheaper to promote than it is to train. And we'll get into that. The structures are points today. That might have caught you off guard. You didn't see that coming because we've already had structure day. Well, you get to do some more structure day. That means upgrading buildings, no matter what building it is, you get points today. But you need to focus on the right buildings. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And finally, those radar events. So the radar events are stackable. Who knew? Well, Moshi knew. All right, let's go into the city and let's kind of talk about the areas that you need to focus on. Let's go straight to the point, the troops. You can see upgrading happening with me right now. I'm gonna use some speed ups and knock these out. All right, so the military center, that's huge because it determines how many troops you can have total. The max number of troops you can have in the city. We've talked about this in the troops video, but it's huge. So 2 things to do today: get as many troops in the house as you can, but also upgrade the ones you already have. All right, so if you do this right, I'm gonna go here. There should be zeros across the board for lower troops. Then you start turning your next tier into higher tier. So I'm going to go here. When I click on a unit and there's a higher tier available, when I click here, an orange up arrow will appear. That means I can convert them to the next tier. Promote. And then I can speed that up because I have a 3-hour speed up somewhere. You gotta scroll to it. It won't go there automatically. You gotta go to it. Boom, click, and then boom, there you go. So just like that, I have turned my tier 7s into tier 8s. The more you upgrade your buildings, the more troops you can do this at a time. It used to be I could only do 90, then I upgraded the building. Now I can do 120 at a time. So that's promoting your troops. Today, the buildings you worry about upgrading are your military center and all the camps. The higher you get your camps, the higher tier you can have your troops. And there's some added benefits in there as well. If I hit the I, you can see the higher the level, the higher the training speed and the training cap. You see that training cap? That's how many people I can promote or train at a time. So if I get this to level 30, I can train 150 troops at a time. So right now I'm at 24, I'm doing 120. All right, so it matters to upgrade the camp buildings. Okay, so upgrade your camps, upgrade your military center, focus there. All right, then the next 2 things you're looking at today is your radar. Radar events, every one of them, they count for points. So click on event. If there's anything there, claim that. You're getting points. I wiped mine out already. Didn't think about the video. Sorry about that. All right, so then the next thing are the labs. Now I know the labs may not make sense to you, but the labs are connected to troops because there's elite troops in there, and that helps the troops, not the heroes. The hero training helps the heroes. I went super hard because it said elite troops. So I started maxing out everything in there. I thought troops meant everybody. No, that has nothing to do with the heroes and everything to do with troops. So that's that with the labs. If you want to get points for the labs, don't do any of this stuff. That does not get you points. The lab is only getting you points if you click on the button and hit green and upgrade the lab. That's how you get points today for labs. Okay? The last thing we'll talk about are the troops protecting your HQ and the troops in your teams. Now, you've probably seen this, but you probably hadn't given much thought. Whenever you march out a team, they carry troops with them, but they leave an awful lot of them back at the city. The ones that are left over are defending your city. Now, when I attack with a team, there's only a certain number of troops they can carry with them. They have a capacity limit. Every hero, depending on how strong they are, can carry troops. So I imagine it being like a caravan. The hero is in the truck in the front, and she got her troops behind her in little vehicles, little deuce and halves or something. So this hero can carry 315 troops with her into battle. If I add another hero, she's gonna bring her troops. Now it's 612 and those two heroes. So you're fighting those two ladies and the troops in the trucks behind them. If I go 5 deep, boom, that's 1,500 troops and those 5 ladies you gotta deal with. Now, if the troops are strong, then that's a problem. So I've got some tier 8 troops here, you know, or if it's just a gathering, the troops help gather more. So the more troops you carry, the more stuff you can carry back. So if you go out for a gathering mission, you're gonna come out with more stuff, you got more troops. That's how the composite of the team works, but I'm taking them out of the city. So if I go aggro like super hard up here, all right, I'm carrying 2,400 troops out of the city. But the good news is that if you attack my city, if I click on military center, I can have 10,000 in there. So when I fill this up today, it'll be filled up today. When I carry out 2,400, I still got 8,000 something back in the city that's gonna fight you when you show up. That's very different from the heroes. When you attack the city, only the highest team is gonna fight back. So the rest of the heroes are useless. All of these heroes aren't fighting you when you attack my HQ. It's just gonna be the top squad, based on whatever team I put together out here. So really think about your teams, because if your HQ is attacked, whoever's up next is fighting the attacker. So if I hit march and I march out the top team, all right, they're not in the fight when you attack my HQ. They're outside. Who you're gonna be fighting is my second team, all right? So you'd be fighting these ladies with not 1,800, since they're back in the HQ, they got all the troops with them. So when you look at the attack report, it's gonna say these ladies, it's gonna have these ladies' pictures, if they're back in the HQ, and it's gonna have 8,000 troops or whatever it is. You might lose to just the sheer number of troops and the tier level of the troops. The troops might pose a problem because I'm gonna have the highest tier in there, and there's gonna be a lot of them in there. So my goal today is 15,000 in the city. So when I run out and I attack somebody and they try to sneak attack my HQ, they still got a problem, because I'm gonna have my second team ready, which I'm gonna work on. And then I'm gonna have the troops at a high tier level and a lot of them, okay? That also gives you kind of a sneak peek of why team 2 is important, because your team 2 is always defending the HQ. Generally, you attack with your team 1. You always leave your team 2 and 3, 4 behind. So team 3 and 4, they're useless. They aren't doing anything but sitting there. Those heroes don't fight when your HQ is attacked. It's gonna be the next team up. So whoever your team 2 is, they are saving the city while your team 1 is out there fighting. Unless you send your team 2 out there and try to slick, okay? All right. So build up your buildings today and build up your troops today. Promote first, train later. This is Rogue Archetype.